So you've been in Sam's community and you've watched Alex Hormozi talk about the power of community. You've scrolled through Skool's discovery page for months now, looking at what other people are building. And you know what? You've even bookmarked 47 tabs about how to start a community. You've drafted your welcome message 3 times. And you know what? You've even picked out a name. But I'll tell you what you haven't done. You haven't clicked the create community button. And you know what? I think I know why. Now look, we're just a few weeks away from 2026. Another year is about to pass. Another year of thinking about it instead of just doing it. And meanwhile, your expertise is just sitting in your head, not generating any income at all. The knowledge you've spent 10, 15, sometimes even 20 years building in your career is completely dormant right now. You're worried about the tech and you're not really sure about the platform, but that's not really what's stopping you, is it? I think the real fear is, what if your expertise isn't valuable enough? What if you launch this thing and nobody shows up? And what if people in your industry find out and they think you're one of those guru types, right? Like one of those people selling courses about selling courses. And the crazy thing is, I get it. Seriously, I get it. And that's a legitimate fear. But look, here's what I want you to think about for a second. What if you don't do this? Just think about it. What if you don't do it at all? I mean, what if your job gets AI optimized in 2 years? What if you retire and watch your 401k dwindle faster than you expected? And what if that side income that you've been thinking about this for years never materializes because you kept waiting for the right time? And what if you realize in 5 years that dozens of people with less experience than you, less expertise than you, are making $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month from communities? And you're still exactly where you are right now. And you know what? Here's the thing. You're strategic, or at least that's what you tell yourself. So in your mind, what you're doing is you're thinking, do you know what? I'm going to wait until there's a few more features on this platform. You're waiting until you have a little bit more time to do this properly. And spoiler alert, you won't. You're waiting until the economy stabilizes. It won't. And you're waiting until you feel ready. You never will. You never will. But you know what? This isn't strategy. I think this is fear disguised as prudence. And you know the thing is, Seth Godin talks about this concept called thrashing. It's when you endlessly plan and research and strategize without ever shipping anything at all. You just go around in circles. And planning kind of feels productive, doesn't it? And it feels like you're making some real great progress, but do you know what? It's not progress. In my mind, it's motion without movement. So let me put this in perspective for you. Every month you wait is $1,000 to $5,000 you're not making. It's basically just 6 months of getting ready. That's 6 to 30 months in unrealized income. Now, if you're serious about actually launching a Skool community this year or next year, I've built something that could actually help you, and it's called the Skool Monetization Lab. And the thing is, it's not crazy, and you know what? It's not crazy courses, it's not 47 modules you'll never watch. It's a community where we get stuff done. And it's the exact same framework we use for people to go from 0 members to 100 members in such a short period of time. And it's not thousands and thousands of dollars a month. But look, if you're interested, the link is in the description. But we'll talk about that more in a little while. First, let's talk about what you're actually avoiding here. You see, what if you treated your Skool community like a side business from day one? Not a hobby, by the way, not a hobby. Not something you'll do when you have the time, but a legitimate revenue system. Because you know what, since I've been on Skool, here's what I've learned in the past year. You're running your own community. The people who succeed aren't smarter than you, and they're not even more qualified than you. They just got started. Now, what I want you to do now is I want you to think about how you're looking at this whole Skool community thing. You're looking at it like it's a finished product, right? Like you need to launch with 50 members and 10 courses and have this really thriving culture from day one. But you know what? That's not how it works. A Skool community is a staircase. It's not an elevator. And I just want you to picture this. You're kind of standing at the bottom of this staircase and you're looking all the way up to the top floor thinking, I need to get up there immediately. But successful communities are built one step at a time. So basically what you do is you create the community. That takes about 5 minutes. To be honest, it doesn't take long at all. You invite 5 to 10 people from your network. That takes 1 day to do. And then what you do is you post one valuable thing per day that's ongoing in your life. In essence, what you're doing is you're having a one-to-one conversation with a member, 15 minutes even. And then you ask them what they need help with. You're listening, not teaching, you're just listening. That's it, 5 steps. And none of them require you to be perfect, by the way. And none of them require for you to have it all figured out either. And trust me on this, you don't need confidence to start. You need to start building confidence. So let me give you an example from my own experience. My first roadblock call. I was terrified, I was over-prepared, and I was stumbled through the whole damn thing. It was crazy. But you know what? By my 5th roadblock call, it felt natural. I don't know, I was just more helpful and I actually enjoyed the process. And by my 12th roadblock call, a member told me that the conversation changed their entire approach to monetization. And this is what I want you to understand. I think the confidence came from actually doing it, not before doing it. I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Simon Sinek. He talks about starting with why. And you know why? That why is important. But it only works if you actually start. Look, so before we go any further, I want you to get clear on your North Star. And I don't mean some sort of vague goal like, I want to make money. That's just too abstract. What I want you to do is I want you to be specific. What does your life look like when your Skool community generates $3,000 a month? What do? Do you leave your job? Do you transition to part-time even? Are you actually building a safety net? And do you finally take that trip you've been putting off without checking your bank account first? And do you stop feeling anxious every single time your company mentions restructuring? I don't know, do you help your kids with college without going into debt? I think this is the time to get really specific in what you actually want. I want you to write down the 3 concrete things that change when you hit $1,000 a month. Then 3 more things that change at 3,000. Then 3 more at 5,000. And if you haven't worked this out already, these are your GPS coordinates. This is where you're actually climbing to. Now let's talk about you actually needing to launch. You don't need a guru level community to start. You need a minimum viable community. And I'm calling it the MVC. That's my word. I've made that up, but it's mine now. And now look, here's what you don't need. You don't need 10 courses filmed and edited. You don't need perfect branding and a color scheme. You don't need 100 members by day 1. And you don't need some complicated funnel. You don't need a 50-page welcome guide either. But I'll tell you what you do need. One clear outcome. What will your members achieve in your community? 5 to 10 people who really trust you. And this is what we call our warm network. One place to post valuable content, that's your Skool community. And one way to help them. It could be as simple as a weekly Q&A. And that's it, 4 things, not 40. 4. Now, James Clear, I don't know if you've heard of him, the guy who wrote Atomic Habits, says you don't need to rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You see, your community doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to exist. I don't know, you can kind of think of it as the first draft, I suppose. You see, the purpose of a first draft isn't perfection. It's to get out the ideas out of your head and onto paper. Or in this case, into a community. And your first 10 members, you can call them your beta readers, for example. They're going to tell you what's working and what needs fixing. And if you think about this logically, you can't improve on something that just doesn't exist. And you know what, this is what I did. I launched at 75%, and I just grew to 100%, but I did that with my members. So look, here's your 7-day launch plan. I want you to write this down. On day 1 and 2, create your Skool community. You're gonna pick a name, you're gonna do the basic setup, and you're gonna write 1 welcome post. On day 3, what I want you to do is invite 5 people, and this is from your warm network. You know, friends, colleagues, LinkedIn contacts, people who already know, like, and trust you. And then on day 4, I want you to post 1 piece of valuable content. Could be a template, could be a framework, an insight from your years of experience. And on day 5, I want you to DM all those members, the massive membership, ask them what's the biggest challenge with whatever your topic is. And on day 6, I want you to create 1 resource based on the answers that they gave you. It's kind of like a feedback loop. And then day 7, I want you to host your first live Q&A. And even if 2 people show up, just do it. And you know what? That is your first week. It's not complicated. It's just consistent. Now what I'm going to do, because I know what you're thinking now, you've got a few things going through your head. Let me attack the excuses. And I know these are running through your head right now. You might be thinking to yourself, do you know what, Des, I don't have time. I'm actually running 2 communities 15 hours a week. My niche is my niche is too saturated. Your 20 years of experience is your differentiation. Nobody else has your exact combination of knowledge and perspective. What if no one joins? Do you know what? Let me tell you something. 10 engaged members at $29 a month is $290 a month. And that's what you don't have right now. And look, I'm no guru, and that's good, that's fine. But my most successful members are anti-guru. Be the practitioner and not the preacher. You might have the other idea, you know what, the economy is really bad at the moment. People spend money on solutions to their problems. And you know what? You have the solutions. Now, what I want you to do now is I want you to think of 2 different timelines, just for 1 second. A, you don't launch, January 2026 rolls around, and you're still in the same job. Same income, same uncertainty. Your company announces AI integration, and they say your role is evolving. And then think to yourself, I should have started that community, you know, I should have done that. Meanwhile, someone with less experience than you is making $5,000 a month from their community. And then later in the year, you're kicking yourself because you had the exact same idea 12 months ago. Or you got timeline B, you can launch this month. January 2026 arrives and you have 50 to 75 members and you're making $1,200 to $2,000 a month in recurring revenue. And you have case studies, you have testimonials, you have proven formats. AI at work? Now you're less worried because you have another revenue stream. And trust me when I say this, honestly, I'm being truthful with you. You're going to be 12 months ahead of everyone who's still thinking about it. So let me ask you a question. Which timeline do you actually want? Now, look, here's the thing. This isn't about me trying to convince you to do something. I don't benefit from whether you launch or whether you don't. This is about you honoring your own expertise. You have spent years building knowledge in your field, and right now it's locked right in your head and it's not generating any income at all. And you know what? The thing is, starting a Skool community isn't selfish. It's self-respect. It's saying my experience has value and I'm going to share it with people who need it. And to me, if you're waiting another year, that's the real betrayal. Not of me, not of some guru system, of yourself. Look, I don't want you to wake up on January the 1st, 2026 in the exact same place you're in right now. I want you to wake up with at least 10 members, with momentum and with revenue. Not because it's going to make you rich overnight, because to be honest, it's not going to, but because you actually started it. And then starting is the only thing that separates successful community owners from people who just thought about it. So here's what I want you to do. If you're ready to build this, if you're ready to actually really build this, join me in the Skool Monetization Lab. You'll get the exact frameworks I use to help people monetize their communities. You'll get the templates for pricing, for products, for posting, and you'll get a free roadblock call with me where we'll figure out your specific monetization plan. And look, if you're interested in that, the link is in the description. It's just practical help to get you from zero to launched. And if this video resonated with you, please leave a comment, subscribe and like this video. And also tell me the one thing that's stopping you right now from launching. I'll reply to it as many as I can. And if you do launch in the next 7 days, send me a message. I want to celebrate that with you. Look, I'm just going to say this. 2026 is your year. Let's make it happen.